Hello, everyone, and welcome to English4you channel. I'm Tom, and today we have a great lesson lined up for you. We're going to dive into something that most of us have experienced at some point. An embarrassing situation where you forget someone's name. It's awkward, it happens, and it's a great way to practice some common phrases. So, let's get started. Hey, Sarah, how's it going?
Oh, hey, Tom. You won't believe what happened today. I ran into an old friend from college, but I didn't recognize her at first.
Oh, wow, that's uncomfortable. What did you do?
I know, right? She walked up to me, smiling, and I just stared at her, trying to figure out who she was. My brain was just not making the connection. So I just said, "Can you remind me of your name?" Because it completely slipped my mind.
That's a great way to handle it, though. It happens to the best of us. You can't remember every name, especially when it's been a while.
Exactly. It's embarrassing at first, but sometimes people understand. I told her, "I'm terrible with names," and she laughed. So, we were good.
Now, let's take a look at the first phrase we heard today. I'm terrible with... It's a great phrase to admit that you struggle with something, whether it's names, directions, or technology. It's not only honest, but it also breaks the ice and shows that you don't take yourself too seriously. Exactly. For example, you can say, "I'm terrible with numbers," or "I'm terrible with directions, I always get lost." This phrase makes you sound casual and approachable, and it's very common in everyday conversation. Just like when you want to say that you forget things easily, "I'm terrible with faces," for instance. It lets others know that you're a bit absent-minded, but in a charming way. Next up, we have another useful phrase, "Can you remind me?" This is super useful when you forget something, like a name or a detail. It's polite and it helps you keep the conversation going without making it too awkward. Exactly. For example, if someone's telling you something you missed earlier, you can say, "Can you remind me what you said about that report?" It's polite and shows you want to be involved in the conversation even if you might have missed something. Right. You can also say, "Can you remind me where we met before?" when you see someone but can't remember their name or face. It's a friendly, non-embarrassing way to keep things moving. Our final takeaway phrase is, "It's been so long." This is a great phrase to use when you reconnect with someone after a long time. It shows that you've missed them or that you're glad to see them again. Yes. For example, you might say, "It's been so long since I saw you last. How have you been?" It's a warm way to start the conversation and make the other person feel welcomed. You could also say, "It's been so long since we talked," or even, "It's been so long since we worked together." It shows excitement about reconnecting and makes the other person feel valued. Now let's take a deeper look at some grammar structures used in this lesson. Understanding how sentences are formed can help you use them more naturally in conversation. I'm terrible with... This phrase is an example of an adjective plus preposition structure. Here, terrible is the adjective, and with is the preposition. The preposition with is used to connect the adjective to the thing you're bad at. Example, I'm terrible with numbers. Grammar. Tip. You can substitute terrible with other adjectives like bad or horrible. The sentence structure remains the same. Can you remind me? This is a simple modal verb plus base verb construction. Can is the modal verb, and remind is the base form of the verb. The phrase is a polite request asking someone to help you remember something. Example, can you remind me where we met? Grammar. Tip. Use can for informal situations. If you want to be more polite, use could. Could you remind me? Sounds a bit more formal. It's been so long. This is an example of a present perfect construction. It's is a contraction of it has, and been is the past participle of the verb be. The phrase expresses that a long period of time has passed since you last saw someone or did something. Example, it's been so long since we spoke. Grammar tip. The present perfect is used for actions or experiences that have a connection to the present, even if they happened in the past. So, it's not just about the past. It's still relevant now. Putting it together. Now let's put everything together and see how you can use these phrases in real-life conversations. Here's a simple example. It's been so long. I'm terrible with names. Can you remind me of your name? Exactly. Or maybe you could say, I'm terrible with directions. Can you remind me which way to go? This way you're being honest, but also using a polite phrase to keep the conversation flowing. These are common phrases that anyone can use in an everyday setting. Don't be afraid to admit when you don't know something. It shows humility, and you'll often get a friendly response back. Now let's look at a common phrase that makes you sound more natural. How's it going? Instead of the usual, how are you? Or how's everything? This sounds much more casual and friendly. It's commonly used in the US and makes you sound like a native speaker. Yeah, definitely. How's it going? Is a great casual greeting. Let's listen to it again from the dialogue. Nick, how's it going? It's simple, but it's a great way to sound relaxed and conversational. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson today. Remember, learning English is all about using real, everyday phrases so you can sound more natural and confident. Definitely. Check out our YouTube channel where you can find more resources and helpful tips. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have.